John chapter 12, verse 37 through 50. Belief and unbelief among the Jews. Even after Jesus had performed so many signs in their presence, they still would not believe in him. This was to fulfill the word of Isaiah the prophet, Lord, who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For this reason they could not believe, because as Isaiah says elsewhere, he has blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts, so they neither can see with their eyes, nor understand with their hearts, nor turn, and I would heal them. Isaiah said this because he saw Jesus' glory and spoke about him. Yet at the same time many, even among the leaders, believed in him, but because of the Pharisees they would not openly acknowledge their faith, for fear they would be put out of the synagogue. For they loved human praise and more than praise from God. Then Jesus cried out, "Whoever believes in me does not believe in me only, but in the one who sent me. The one who looks at me is seeing the one who sent me. I have come into the world as light, so that no one believes in me shall stay in the darkness. If anyone hears my words but does not keep them, I do not judge that person, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. There is a judge for everyone who rejects me and does not accept my words. The very words I have spoken will condemn them at the last day. For I did not speak on my own, but the Father who sent me commanded me to say all that I have spoken. I know that his command leads to eternal life, so whatever I say is just what the Father has told me to say." Hey everybody, welcome to Susan Diamond Paints. This is our season 2 episode, what is this, 8 now? Yep, episode 8. So I got some more pulled back here for this section area here, so this is what we're going to work on. So I got it down to here, so you should be able to see this. Right now I got the paper to the side, so we're going to create that edge, that side edge right there, and do like we did before. I just made a mess out of my beans. So let me shake these up and get myself figured out here what we're going to do. So we're going to, first off, we're going to create our border. So we're just going to go up and create the border. So up the side we go. Yep, there we go, right there. Just going across the side. Just create that edge. And then we're going to go up diagonally up the side of the cover paper, because I've got it folded back and it's at a diagonal, so that's just what we'll do like we did the last one. I talked your full head off and about ate my battery up. Oh mercy. So they're just going up across here. Oh Lord, my friend just sent me a message on Facebook and it just popped up, and I was reading it and now it's popped away, so I gotta see what the heck happened there, because he's supposed to be home tonight, so I don't know. Oops, cramp there. Alright, these two, I don't know how these two are sticking together. Is it just, let's separate them up a little bit. I don't know what's going on with those. Alright, so there's that right there. Okay, back across that way. Alright, now we're going to come across, and we'll come across this way, since this is where this edge stops for this little section right here. I'm going to come across this until I get to the cover sheet, or the cover paper, and then this one will go up and do a diagonal. I think right here is where we're at, so this is where we're going to go. Alright, so here's the edge we're going to create diagonally. So we're just going to go up. On the paper, now yeah, I got to pull that down a little bit, so let me pull it just so that this is my edge, so I know. And then we're going to go up, up, up. Okay, so we'll get these right here. That's a little bit to the other side of the paper, so that's okay. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to get these right here, and we're just going to go diagonally up. So this is where the buck stops here, at least just right now where the paper sits. That's just where we're going to go. get it right there. Right there. And I'm still going at an angle, kind of sneaking it under. But we'll pull it back just a little bit to help myself create this edge. And then we're going to go up here and start it right there, because I'm going to go up this side too. Just right up here. Right there. And we're going to keep going. I was going to say we're just going to fill that in right there. I think I am going to sneak that in right there. Then we'll go back, because we are going up here. We're going to sneak that one in right there. And then we'll just do these right here. Yeah, that works good, because, you know, there's no point in leaving these right out here hanging by themselves when that's part of where the color is. And we're just going to get these right here. Create somewhat of an edge, but not really. But then we're going to get these right here at the top. I'm going to come across right here, because it's not going to go any further up. So we're going to fill these in. These are the short ones again, so we're just going to fill the short ones in. I'm going to come down this way, create this line. It's got some skippy-doos in here that's not that color. There's some Y sitting there. I'm going to pull my tray back up here a little bit closer to me, so I don't have to go so far. So we're going to put those right there. Fill these in right here. Yep. Okay, and then we're going to fill these in right there. Just create these. Okay, just talking to myself a little bit here, because I'm trying to figure out where everything's going to go. Right there they go, till I get situated here. That right there. And there's that one. That one, okay, so. Alright, we'll come down here on these. Oops. And we're gonna go right there, because we got some skipping here. Skipping spaces. Gonna go right there. And then we're gonna come back up and fill these in, because this is a row. So we're just going to go diagonally up like this. Then we're going to fill this in. And then come back over that way. Okay. Got those little filled in a little bit, I think. So we're going to come across the top here. And we're going to do every other one. So we'll do a little bit of a checkerboard. Not the step method, but checkerboard here. We'll do every other one, so we'll just get some filling going on. Right there. We're going to go down this side, same thing. Come across, do every other one. See how it fills in. Right there is good. Down there we go, so we'll come across. Yep. Get that. And we'll do this one right here. And we'll come this way. Okay, there we are. Let's see. So the book that I told you about that I saw was a movie. Although from reading what I can tell, it's supposed to be also a TV series by the creators of The Handmaid's Tale. I don't know when that's going to come about. The book's called Fallen. There's a movie about it. I feel like I've seen the movie, although I can't be 100% sure. But when I started listening to the audiobook, I felt like I had heard some of it before. I'm trying to figure out where's my skippies. Alright, so we'll just do that one right there. I'm going to go across here. Now I'm getting ready to go into a long, all the way across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that right there, but I'm going to finish going across that. But I'm going to fill these in right here that I see. I'm just going to create a little fill in here. Get these filled in. Come on, pick that up. Oh, mercy, this is where we get again. That right there. We're going to fill this one in right here. Okay, I'm going to put some more wax. I'm really bad on the wax, I know. That's what happens when I'm a hard presser. Okay, like I said, I forget, y'all. I forget. I start good, but then I forget. Alright, so I'm going to go across this way with this. Since this now is going to start creating the long section. And we'll just do a checkerboard with it. At least what we get across this way, then we might do a little bit of... So you got, if I get into doing the diagonal, it's going to get into all these Y's and it's going to create some kind of mess, I think. So I'm going to stay with the every other right now. But anyway, so as I looked for in my Dropbox that I didn't see that I had the book, so I was like, well, I said, let me look at it on Audible. So I looked on Audible and thought about using credits, but then I was like, well, you know, let me see if the library has it. So I had renewed my library card last year. I think you have to renew it like every 5 or 6 years. So anyway, I went and renewed my card from the library, and then I had checked the library to see if they had this book. So the ebook was on a wait list. I'm like, I don't want to do a wait list. I can't believe, you know, this book is on a wait list, but whatever. And then, but they had the audiobook version available. So, well, let me get the audiobook version. And I might listen to it tomorrow, depending on what gets thrown at us to what we have to do. But at any rate, I may listen to it. But so I started listening to it Monday. And like I said, I felt like I watched the movie, but I'm not sure. But at any rate, I was excited because the audiobook was available through the library, and I was like, well, I can listen to it. And I did a 3-week checkout on it, not the 2-week. I was like, I don't think I can get it listened to in 2 weeks. If I get it, you know, done before 3, that's great. But if not, I'll have the 3 weeks to listen to it. So I'll be listening to that. Still reading my Wolf Shifter series. It's getting kind of crazy good right now. So, and I think I figured out that it's not as many pages as I thought it was because I have to make the font a little bigger. I would say a lot bigger, but you know. And that's what it is, and I think that's why it's saying it's so many pages. It's because I've made the font bigger, and yeah, there's going to be more pages because the font's bigger, but I'm trying to figure out where all my checkerboard's right here. I go with it, but the only way I could figure these out, especially now that I'm getting into these Y's, is just do where I can and then fill in the rest. So I'm just doing these right here. If it does create, I have to pay attention when I'm filling these in. So what I'm going to do real quick right here in between these Y's, because it is creating a natural step method, we're just going to do that. And we're going to say okay there and there. Alright, I'm going to fill in these. Let me flip that around. Get right there. I'm going to fill these in right here. Let's get you back up. Maybe I'll go back up this side here and fill all these in too. Not creating so much empty space here. Just feeling like I need to. So anyway, so yeah, I started listening to it on audiobook, so I'll probably do that through the library, which is pretty cool. So, you know, it goes through, it used to go through Overdrive. Right now it's going through Libby, and I think it's because Libby either bought Overdrive or that's just what it's going to go through. But that's what I did. My sister, she does this too. She borrows from the library. Now, she's in a different county than I'm in, so I think her library might be bigger than mine. But she does a lot of audiobooks through the library, so that's what she's been doing. So she's been putting her books out on Facebook of what she's been listening to, reading, I guess more listening to, I think. But you know, you listen to a book, it's the same thing as reading the book. Somebody's just reading it to you, so you know, whatever. But she said, you know, she's been doing some she does psychotic thrillers. That's what she does. And I'll say this, you know, growing up, we both read, like, summertime was great because, you know, you go to your local library, and it was, you know, we're in a small town, but, you know, when you're young, there's all the things to read. I mean, there's tons and tons of books that you've never read. So, you know, we would get, like, we'd get books and have the 2 weeks, and we'd just have stacks of books, you know, that we would read. And we both liked pretty much around the same things. She was a big Christopher Pike fan. I mean, I was too, but I was also reading, you know, other things too. I was shamelessly, and I'm gonna date myself here, but I was shamelessly involved in the Sweet Valley High books, and I liked the Avengers of the Babysitting Club. Now, she read those too, so those were books that she liked too. So, I mean, we're 4 years apart, 4 years in age difference. So some common reading there, but something then, you know, not so much. I mean, I got when I was in high school, and there was 2 sets here. The first set was okay. My favorite author, although shamelessly, I must say I haven't read a lot, but going through high school, probably junior high, 13, the age was 13. We were getting books from the library, and I am a type of person that sometimes for me, a book cover will speak to me and say, this is what you need to read. Now, I've read some really great books based on a cover, just seeing the cover, thinking, you know, that looks like a great book. So I would say to those of you who work in that kind of field of picking out book covers for books, and you know, tremendous job on yourself, because some of us will pick a book just based off the cover and say, okay, we're going to read this because we like the cover. You know, try it out, see if you like it. I don't know. But anyway, so the cover was silver. It was all silver, and it was paperback. I remember being a paperback version. It wasn't a hardback version. It was a paperback version. And it had a little boy's shadow portrait type face. I don't even think it was on the cover. I think it was on the side. But at any rate, it was Stephen King's The Shining. And I got it at the age 13 and borrowed it from the library and read smack through that thing. Didn't scare me. I can tell you what books have scared me. Didn't scare me. Enjoyed it. I became an instant fan. I was part of the Stephen King library. That's where all my hardback books have come from. Had to, eventually, you know, the library just went kaput, and, you know, when he retired, he wasn't going to write as much. So a lot of his books, I think the last ones I got, as far as hardback is concerned, is the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. That's the last one I have, and I didn't even read those. I listened to those. I listened to the audio books of those. William Patton, Bill Patton, he read those. He narrated. I'm trying to think of the word there. He narrated those. So, yeah, I became a really, really big fan. The book of his that scared me, And this is going to be different for everybody, I think, because different books scare different people. But for me, it was Bag of Bones because it was more, I think, of a ghost-ish story. So that one scared me. Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher, there is a scene in that book, and I laughed so hard I cried. I mean, I laughed and 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 laughed some more. So, and in the movie I laughed, so yeah, I'm a strange bird, I know. But anyway, and I can tell you different things too, like, you know, so for me, the scariest book I ever read was The Exorcist. After reading that book, I had to sleep with the lights on. I couldn't sleep for a while with the lights off. Oh my word, y'all, that book. Holy moly. My husband won't even watch the movie. I've never seen the movie. Well, never seen the movie. He can't watch the movie. He just can't do it. He said, I can't do it. So what scares him, as far as movies are concerned, and I think I tried to read this to him one time, and he's like, he couldn't do it, was Salem's Lot by Stephen King. The movie scares him. So he's like, nope. So that's, you know, that's it on him. But I haven't read him recently. I haven't read Stephen King recently. And I'll go ahead and tell you that part of that problem is the book. I can't read the hardback books because the print's so tiny. My eyes just aren't that good anymore. So if I read it, I have to read it like through my tablet. The font's gonna have to be big for me to read it. I did start to reread The Stand. I'll say this, I haven't picked that back up, and I really need to do that. But I did reread 2 summers ago, I think, maybe before COVID, when Stephen King's It movie came out, the 2-part. I reread the book. Man, oh man, did I forget a lot. But that's with anything, I think, unless you just read to keep your little brain active. But for that one, I definitely forgot stuff, and so much so that when I read it, I was like, oh gosh, I can't remember reading, you know, all this, and I don't even know if I comprehended really what I read and what age I read that book at any rate. But when I reread it, I was like, I knew then, I was like, I had forgotten a lot in that book. But then my niece, she's in her double-digit years now, but still young, too young to read that book, I'll say that much. Because my sister was talking about it, and she's like, yeah, Addison wants to read, you know, Stephen King's It. And I said, no, ma'am, she cannot. I said, I will go ahead and tell you that right now. I said, because I reread it. I said, no, that is not fit, made, no, she can't. I said, you have to. I said, you need to sit there and read it. I said, then you'll understand why you can't let her read this. And one, she's not old enough. There was a lot in that book that I totally forgot about. And not until I reread it that I remembered anything, and was thinking, you know, just all I can say is just wow, you know, just, you know, forgot a lot of stuff. And I'll say this, because I am really going to age myself, and I think anybody else that's around the same age is going to understand what I say when I say this. Reading at the age that I am now, and reading things, and reading what you read, and someone tells you, oh, this is a great book, oh, watch this book, oh, this has this in it, you know, that's where you went. So many people now are big on the trigger thing. Oh, don't read this because it triggers this, or this is a trigger. And my thing on that is, you know, I can't. It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around the whole trigger thing, because don't read this because it may trigger this. It's kind of one of those things where you should know going in it, and that there should be enough of a synopsis anywhere that you can find about a book. You know, Goodreads, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, I mean, I think if you just search a book, it's going to give you any kind of synopsis you need to know whether or not you need to read something or not read something, because it has content in it that may, and that's my whole thing, trigger what? What is it going to trigger? Is it going to trigger anxiety in yourself? Is it going to trigger adult content? I don't know. Somebody in the younger generation is going to have to explain to me this whole trigger thing, because I don't get it. But that's just me. My thing is if you don't think you can handle it, don't read it. End of story. I mean, that's my whole thought on anything. But anyway. So, exercise. You know, I love this camera, but it apparently tells me, hey, you've been talking too long. We're going to cut you off. So just cut off. See, you've been talking too long and we're going to cut you off. That's what happens when you're working on a one color at a time. You've got color block, and I'm going to run my full head off right here. So back to that. So scary, Exorcist, slept with the lights on. Hilarious, Dreamcatcher, Stephen King. Cried. I'll tell you the ones I cried. I like all the books, y'all. I read everything. Yeah, just for me, it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I mean, I think you're seasonal readers. I think there's seasons and times for you when you read something. I used to not be big on Westerns, but I will say I liked the Longmire, Craig Johnson's Longmire series, because it was, I watched the TV show. Yes, the books are different from the TV show. That's just the way it is. But I listen to the audiobooks because I like George Goodall. Anytime I hear his voice, it's Walt Longmire to me. That's just what it is, because that's what I like listening to. So those, as far as Western's concerned, yeah, that's about it right there. Unless it's historical romance. That was the other thing I got into when I was in high school, was the historical romance from Harlequin. It was a 4-book subscription service. My mom paid for it. She said, as long as you read it, that's fine. She said, I'll, get it for you. So that's what she did, and I did. I read them. I read them all. Try to get back into that. It's just kind of hard. But yeah, so that's that. So that's the Western side of it. Walt Longmire, Craig Johnson's Walt Longmire, is about Western as I can get. Other than, like I said, the historical romance. If it's got a cowboy in it, sign me up. But yeah, I do a lot of YA, and that's based on my friend who's got me hooked on that. So it's her fault. She helped me pick out books when I had like 24 credits I had to use up because they wouldn't roll over for Audible. So she got me all the YA series stuff that I need to still listen to. I think I got like 300 books, audio books in general, with my Audible subscription. But yeah, stuff I need to listen to. But yeah, crying. What books I was telling you when I was gonna cry. So I cried. I don't know the page count now, but I will say it was a crap ton of pages, probably like 50 or more pages, and I'm talking about bawled my eyeballs out. And I'm still being apparently a big hard-pressed sticky person over here. Tell you what happens when I run my mouth. I'll pay attention to not being very hard-pressed sticky here. Was Nicholas Sparks' Message in a Bottle. I cried and cried and cried. I mean, we're talking about probably 80 pages, I guess. I don't know. I just bawled my eyeballs out. But, he writes those type of books, the tearjerker. Now, for his, I used to read his pretty religiously, too, like all the time. But he, to me, got like, as my dad said with John Grisham, eventually it feels like you're just reading the same crap. Not saying John Grisham or Nicholas Sparks has crap, but you know what I'm saying. It just feels like you're reading the same storyline. It's just, you can only fall in love for so many ways, and you can only have so many Dear John letters, and you can only have so many affairs or what have you. So that's what it kind of felt like. It just got to work for me. it just became the same old with Nicholas Sparks. So I will say this, I did meet him. Me and a friend at work, we were both reading him. And the book that came out that we had signed was A Walk to Remember. And I had with me my Message in a Bottle book. And he's like, and he was so nice. He's such a nice person. I mean, of course, this was years ago, but he was just such a nice guy. And he was there to sign, Walk to Remember. So that's obviously the book I had with me for him to sign. But I had Message in a Bottle with me also, but I didn't expect him to sign it. So he's like, do you want me to sign that one? I'm like, well, yeah, if you're willing to, sure. I mean, I thought you were only going to sign A Walk to Remember. I mean, I could have been like any other person. I collected them all. I could have brought them all in, but I didn't. I just had the Message in a Bottle with me because that's the one I read and cried the most with. But yeah, so I met him. So that's the author that I've met, and he signed my Walk to Remember Message in a Bottle books. So, but I don't think I have those anymore. Oh, shame on me, but that's okay. So yeah. But anyway, my sister reads the psychotic thrillers, and that's what she's been posting on Facebook. And her other friend reads some of the romance, not the hardcore romance ones, but some, and some other stuff. Oh wow, got all that done. Okay, so since it's just chaptered at me, I'm trying to see. I still have this little section right here, this right here, all this here. Yeah, we still got a little bit left, I think, on this symbol. Yeah, we should be done with this pretty soon here. But I know that I've rattled and talked and some more. I gotta get that up there at the top too. I got a little bit at the top over here you can't see. But yeah, so I'm gonna move this back over and turn the light off. Alright, so I'm gonna leave this in the tray since we're still working on one color, and that's okay. Alright, y'all. Thank y'all for watching and sitting here and listening to me ramble and talk my full head off. But I will speak with y'all again. See y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.